Hello and welcome to Dean Park Station. This is the November 2017 update. In the last 4 weeks I've been doing lots of bits and pieces, lots of little jobs that will come to fruition in the next month or so to show quite a visual improvement and development to the layout. I've also got some steam running shots for the steam fans that follow my channel, along with the usual diesel running shots, so I hope you enjoy those. If you have any questions and suggestions, please do get in touch. I do enjoy reading and replying to the comments. Right, we'll start with the substation because this is the area that I'm starting with and I'm working my way round the corner. The substation itself is a Bachmann Scenecraft item that I've mentioned in my previous videos, and at the moment it's sitting on a mock-up 2mm thick card hard standing base. That won't be the final base. I've got one that's been laser cut from MDF, and if I just move the substation out of the way, you'll notice it's been cut, shaped. It's shaped to fit the profile of this, so this actually sits on top of the concrete, and the path to the doors of the substation, if you like, onto this kind of paved area, or this hard standing. If I take that out of the way again, this 2mm card that I've laser cut as a mock-up trial, I've even managed to engrave the slab join lines, if you like, in the actual hard standing. And I've done this on MDF, and the 2mm base is currently being primed and ready to be painted with a concrete finish and then weathered up. I'm working on the technique just now. This gantry here of isolators, insulators, cabling and general electrical stuff will be the external part of the substation. A lot obviously would be inside, but this gantry fits onto the end of the building, and there'll be fencing, there'll be a gate here and a fencing all the way around, security fencing, so you can't actually access this without going through the gate or one of the doors, which obviously will be restricted access. That's the kind of plan for the next 4 to 6 weeks to get this done. Obviously I'll have to do all this area here, that'll be scenic, weeds, overgrown, bushes and that doesn't obviously get accessed. They have a small maybe mud path or gravel path for the workers to go around the corner to the relay boxes on the inclined section as well. And if I turn the camera to the other end, you'll see the gantry clearer. Now you'll notice that it's attached, the attached effect anyway, with the 3 bars there will go into the building, because that's where obviously the connection. And that little kind of substation box under there, that's a 3D printed item, along with that small substation kit there. I think they were from Shapeways, like £15 or something. I got a couple of each, and there you can see the hard standing and the actual. You can probably hear the join there, run my nail over it, and when that's painted up, it still retains the lines, so it looks quite cool. So I'm looking forward to this area taking shape. This is still to be weathered yet. I'm going to give it a kind of light dusting of just general grime and dust and whatnot that it would get when it's outside, to match in with the concrete hard standing, which will be weathered as well. And that'll tie nicely into powering the overhead electrification for this part of the line, like a booster substation, which you would find all along the East Coast main line and other electrified routes. Here we've got our S&T training centre, S&T standing for Signal and Telecommunications. And what I've done in the last month here is I've made some modular clasp buildings using a scale scenes kit. This is a pretty standard scale scenes kit, but I've made it wider than the actual instructions suggest, which you can do. You can add, subtract, alter the shapes and dimensions of the building, and it gives you a selection of different window, door and side panel arrangements, and different doors as well, different colours of doors and different eras, if you like. It's also got a kind of canopy or an awning for if you want to make it into a station building. Obviously this isn't a station building, so I've just omitted that detail. The square design is based loosely on one that you would see throughout the network from the 1960s, 70s onwards. In fact, there was one at my local station. It was a ScotRail training centre, and it looked pretty similar to this before it got bulldozed. So I kind of used that as a small inspiration. There's internal walls as well, and internal doors. This one here is a total scratch built using the scale scenes materials. As you can see on one side there, I've got the small window panels running along the top of the concrete cast structure, and I've obviously got my door. I've then got a small panelled window. Again, I've got the small panels, but this time I've put a door on there, and then I've got blanked off panels, which sometimes were kept like that. Around the back I've got a door, and again another configuration of windows. Inside there is internal wall detail. There is also a ceiling sheet you can print out and stick on, but because mine's an awkward shape, the the detailing, the panelling wasn't quite right for this, so I just kept it as a grid pattern, which you actually get in the kit to obviously measure the right size of the roof before you cut it. The roof itself is 8mm thick. There's 4 layers of 2mm thick card on that, so it is quite a sturdy kit. That actually is the only thing that's making it sturdy, because the window sections are just glued onto very thin clear plastic card, so you need that roof to keep the structure rigid. So I'll pop that back down there. You'll also notice on the plan here that I've kind of been drawing on, there is a car park here. Obviously I've put the cars in just now to mimic this. Around the buildings and in between the buildings and down here will be the paved area, and I've got Slater's plastic card paving, which I think looks quite good. I've tried 2 or 3 different ones, but this one looks more to scale for 00, and I'm going to mount it on a 2mm base, if you like, to raise the pavements up above the tarmac. The tarmac itself will be using the road kit that I used in my caravan park with the materials that I pour in and smooth out, like the Smooth It I think, and that'll be raised as well, but I'll make sure the kerb's sitting higher, and obviously I'll have kerb stones there as well. The fence will run along the back here and down the side, security fence, and there'll be access to the line behind through a security gate with a crossing kind of indicator, if you like, a light, so the workmen could access different parts of the track and also walk along to the TMD, which is just to the right of the screen. There'll be gates, security gates there, security fencing, some paving, and then obviously we've got our training area here, which I'll move the camera so we can have a closer look at it. Okay, what I've got here is an outdoor training facility, and I've got a left-hand small radius Pico turnout, and there'll be added track there as well. And in this small kind of condensed real life situation, I'll have all those things that go around on the line side to aid and to operate the signalling. So for example, I might have a ground frame there or a point motor, depending if I want it manually operated for the workers to mimic it or to have a point motor set up. I might have a shunt signal. I might have a 2-aspect signal there, but not raised up down at ground level, so the trainees and the workers can get access to it without having to climb a ladder. There might be, I've got penciled in here, relay boxes, cable trunking, I've got floodlights penned in here as well. So really it's a real life scenario condensed into a small space. And I've looked at images on the internet. There are several examples, different layouts, different configurations. Some are indoor, some are outdoor. I'm using the outdoor option here. And there'll be red chips or some kind of gravel round about it. And obviously I'll ballast the turnout and give it a light weathering because it's not going to be heavily used by trains. So it'll be more rusty rail than sleeper grime. So we'll kind of zoom out. This is along with the substation there, this is the next focus in the layout, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying planning it out actually, and I'll see it come together round about the turn of the year. Another area I'm working on at the same time as the S&T and substation is this cutting area down here. Now the reason I've not filled that over is I need access to the tracks below. There is a 2.5 to 3 metre tunnel under the TMD and just shy of a metre tunnel that way, and I need access to the trains if there's a derailment issue, a running issue with a local. So that is my avenue to get in there if I need to. Previously, this bit of wood wasn't here. You can see the brown, that wasn't there, and I've also added a bit of wood on here as well, which brings it in by about 160 millimeters. It cuts down the amount of retaining wall and also gives me more area for scenic on the top. It gives me more area for the TMD, which I'll cover briefly after this. I'm using my standard wall technique, if you like, with MDF with a frame behind it to support it and keep it rigid and straight, and the brick card glued to the MDF and then painted in a red brick and mortar, just like I did on my retaining wall in the curve. I've got mock-ups here of the tunnel mouth. It's a straight-sided one to mimic the one on the other end of the tunnel, and I've actually laser cut some of these out of MDF, so I'll be getting a perfect arc and a perfect archway on the actual shape. I'll do similar to this end here, and I've actually got myself a laser cut one there. This is a straight sided one with a large arch, but I'm also going to go and have a look at the actual round portal, so it comes in a little bit at the bottom, more traditional, like the scale scenes kit. I'm basically copying that, but out of plastic card. And it's going to be red brick. The reason I've chosen red brick for this area is that it would have been built at the same time as the previous retaining wall, so I'm kind of keeping the theme going there. Again, this will take time to come to fruition. I'm planning this wall just now. I'm in the process of constructing it. Then I'll have walls along here, and I've also got 2 tunnel mouths. Then I'll get all the details stuck in there as well, relay boxes and all the usual line side stuff that gets left lying around. You can see the extra bit that I've added on there, which gives me more scope for the depot area. This building here will not remain there. That's probably going to leave this TMD site actually and get used somewhere else, like a British Rail yard. Lots of yellow BR vans, etc. And that will just suit that area nicely. I think I'm going to put that yard beside the S&T training facility. those of you who follow my channel for a while will have seen this TMD sit like this for about 18 months now and not really much happened to it. The track's all laid and I'm happy with operation of the track. I've been playing about with different shunting movements and I'm quite happy the way it operates. The position of the buildings in the main will remain, i.e. the shed in front of you there and the single lane shed which has got the silver A4 parked in front of it, they'll probably remain there. But the building that I showed you in the previous clip, that'll be moving along with a lot of the detail on the left hand side, all this junk that I've all these kits that I've got built and sitting there ready to be used somewhere. I've got the back scene, industrial back scene. I'll put the back scene onto the white backboards, then I'll work out where to put low relief buildings, depot buildings, storage yards, fencing, etc. If I move along the other end of the layout, I'll cover the last bit. This 2-lane backman shed, this modern shed here, that will more likely go, will not stay there. I'm going to scratch build my own one that's going to be slightly longer, with a pitched roof on it, and have individual doors if I can, and they're going to be yellow and black chevrons, because a depot is not a depot without a yellow and black chevron door somewhere. So I'm going to redesign that. And I'm also going to make the shed a bit more substantial so I could fit an internal crane in it, so therefore I could do engine changes on the locos, because I know at this moment this is just a servicing shed, it's not a maintenance facility as such. And along where you see the display case there, again that'll be an industrial scene coming leading into the TMD, and where the two tractors can stop there, I used to have my fuel tanks for storage fuel tanks. They might go back there, or I might continue the two sidings along to come towards the main line as it branches onto the incline. But I'm not rushing this. Some people have, say, oh, get the TMD done, but no, I'm going to take my time, because this along with the station will be the main focal point of the layout. I want to get it done right. I'm not rushing it for anybody in order to get it finished, because then I'll not be happy with it and end up spending more money and time getting it right. So that's why I'm focusing on areas I'm certain about what I want just now, like the substation, etc. Finish the update, I'm going to cover some little bits and pieces I've been making as well. This here is a white metal speed restriction sign, and you buy them in a pack from 10 Commandments, and in it you get 2 speed signs, 2 whistle boards, temporary speed restriction boards, and other white metal bits and pieces. And they're great kits, they really are. I've bought numerous of them, but there are 5 each, and I'm only getting 2 speed signs in it. And I've worked out that I need another maybe dozen or so just speed signs, so do your maths, that's quite expensive for what, and I've got a lot of the other ones that I don't particularly need. And each pack you get from 10 Commandments, you get a sheet of speed signs on it, which you just carefully cut out and then apply to the post. And they're quite detailed, they really are good kits, and I would recommend, if you're looking for good speed signs, check out the 10 Commandments website. That's really cool, quite cool. However, what I've done is I've come up with my own ones, and it's a bit of brass, the same diameter as that one. I've made up the plastic ribs along the back there, and I've got myself some circles cut to the same size as that, and I've got a varying selection. I've got the ones that have slight post poking at the top, as you see on the railway. I've got the ones that don't, and I've also got, because I'm now scratch building, I've got some that are doubled up, so you can have maybe on the top say 40 mile an hour, on the bottom you can have HST 50, because some have got varying speed limits depending on what train it is. So they're quite nifty little additions. I'll get them primed up and sprayed and put on the layout. But for the sake of a pack of brass rod, some styrene strips for the little bit at the back, and some 1mm plastic card, I could make dozens for a couple of quid. that's it for the update. I hope you've enjoyed it and enjoyed some of the running clips as well. Just before I go, I've had quite a few requests to do a track plan electronically so I could show it on my YouTube videos. I've not managed to do that yet. I have got electronic copies of it, but none that will show the detail in any sufficient quality for me to actually post it on a video. So if you've asked for a track plan of the layout, please bear with me. It's not a priority of mine just now. I've got so much else to do, but it's on my list. Also at the end of this video, you'll get the usual link to one of my other videos, and also to Richard at Everard Junction, who's back with a new layout. Check his layout out. It's the same era as mine, but obviously his is set down in the southeast of England, but we use a lot of the same rolling stock. Cheers for now.